Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Is there a little red dot there on?
Yes, there is.
Okay, now when that goes out, we run out of film. So we'll have to put a new one in.
I don't think we need, we'll probably won't talk that long, will we?
I don't know. It's up to you. Now keep this with your stuff. That says that you were interviewed on this date.
Okay,
And you're on tape 50.
okay.
And this tape will be down on the Portsmouth Public Library, so 100 years from now, your great-greats can go down and check you out.
Well, I think that's great.
All right. Now for the camera here, your name is Cecil Luther Smith.
Senior.
Senior, yes. And when were you born again?
May the 4th, 1946.
And in fact, you were born in this very house, you said.
In this very room.
This very room, right there where I was sitting. And the address here is 794 Miller's Run.
Miller's Run, Fallen Timber.
Miller's Run, Fallen Timber Road. Okay. We're gonna have a clock and everything in there, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're in your house right now, and there's your bird. Are you retired?
Yes, sir.
What did you retire from?
I had to retire from Mills Pride due to cancer.
Oh, I see. And now, how much education do you have?
I had 11 years in high school, and when I was 46, I took my GED and graduated.
Did you go through a ceremony? A little graduation ceremony?
Not really. I was just tickled to death.
Oh, glad to get the G. Okay, good. Now you're married.
Oh, yes.
And what's your wife's name?
Sharon?
Sharon. Now, let me ask you this. The library likes for me to get a genealogical line here.
Excuse me.
What were your parents' names?
Luther and Gladys
Okay.
Smith.
And what was your mother's maiden name?
Nunley?
Nunley.
Nunley.
N-U, how do you spell it?
N-U-N-L-E-Y.
All right, Nunley. Now, are they both from this area?
She is from Olive Hill, Kentucky, and he is from Old Town, Kentucky.
Old Town, okay. Now, are they still living or are they deceased?
My father's deceased with cancer, and my mother is 91 and still living.
Still living. Now, what was your father's parents' names?
Joseph and Phoebe Smith.
And what was Phoebe's maiden name?
Stevens.
Oh, Stevens. And I bet they're Kentuckians, weren't they?
Oh, yes.
Let me ask you this. Has anybody in the family ever done a family tree, gone back and as far as they could and that sort of thing?
We have one in process at this time. One of my nieces is doing that.
Okay. And what is her name?
Sheila Rockwell.
Sheila Rockwell.
Well, Bops. Used to be Rockwell.
Okay. But her name is Bobst. Her married name is Bobst. And she's doing a family tree. Okay. So somebody watching this 100 years from now, if they found that, they would know a lot about the family.
Yes, they would.
And where does she live?
She lives on Races Mountain.
Right over here in Minford.
Minford Road, yes.
Now, your wife's parents' names, what were their names?
Ray and Mary Turner.
Okay. Do you know Mary's maiden name?
Skaggs.
That's K-A-G-G-S. Okay. Now, did you have any brothers and sisters?
I have 7 sisters and no brothers.
What was that like?
Do you really want to know? On a farm, it was kind of rough.
This farm, in fact.
This farm.
I mean, are you telling me there were 8 kids in this house?
Yes, sir.
8 kids in this house, plus your folks.
Yes, sir. Well, of course, then there's 4 bedrooms upstairs.
Oh, okay. You still had to share, I bet, somewhere.
Oh,
didn't you? How many acres do you have here?
Originally there was 138,
Uh-huh.
and now we just have 2022, it had sold off to a timber company, part of it.
Did you farm it back then? Did you have cattle?
Oh, yes, we had cattle and hogs and chickens.
Okay.
And,
Did you have milk cows?
yes.
Okay. Now, how many children do you have?
3.
And what are their names?
Cecil Smith Jr., Christopher W. Smith, and Don Michelle Smith Altman.
You have 2 boys and a girl.
Yes.
Now, the oldest one is Cecil Smith Jr.
Yes.
And what does he do now?
He works at the correctional facility in Chillicothe.
Okay. Does he have children?
He has 3 girls.
3 girls. What are their names?
Oh,
You didn't know there'd be a test, did you?
Whitney and Chelsea and Lindsay.
All right. Now, your second son, in fact, I talked to him on the phone a little bit. He's a career Army person.
Yes, he is.
And when I talked to him on the phone, I think last week, he was home on leave from Iraq. And he's going back to Iraq soon. He's not here, but he went down to Fort Campbell, and Monday he'll be going back to Iraq. Okay. Now, is he married?
Yes, he is.
Does he have children?
No, he doesn't.
Now, your daughter, where is she?
She lives on Sedan Crabtree Road, across the river.
Okay.
And,
She's married?
she's married and has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. She married Chris Altman.
What are their names?
Jacob, Kyle, and Kayla.
That's pretty good. I'm going to give you an A.
Well, just don't ask me birthdays. We'll be all right.
Now, you were in the Army. You were in the Army. When did you go in the Army?
July 1964.
Did you join?
I joined.
Why did you join the Army?
To try to make something of myself.
Okay. Did it work?
Well, I don't know if it did or not.
You'll leave that up to someone else
I'll
then?
leave that up to someone else.
So you must have, did you drop out of school to join the Army? Was that the deal? Where did you do did your basic? Where did you do your basic?
Fort Knox.
Okay. How long was basic then?
8 weeks.
And then you did your AIT, which is your advanced.
I done that at Fort Knox.
Okay. And what was your MOS then there?
71B30, which administrative specialist.
Okay. And how long was your AIT?
12 weeks.
What'd your folks think about you? You're the only boy. What did they think about you joining the Army?
They didn't want me to go.
They didn't want to.
No.
Are you you wouldn't be the youngest of them all, would you?
No, I have 5 older sisters and 2 younger.
Okay. So did any of them want you to go? They probably.
No.
Okay.
I was the only boy, so.
Right. Then now after Fort Knox and your AIT, where did you go?
Germany.
What did you do there?
I went over as a administrative clerk. They needed medics, so they trained me as a medical foreman, 91B20, and that was my secondary MOS. And I worked in a general dispensary and the 2nd General Hospital in Landstuhl, Germany.
Landstuhl? Okay. Landstuhl. Is that where we're bringing the soldiers back now from Iraq, isn't it?
Close to Ramstein Air Base.
Okay. And how long were you in Germany?
It's 20 months.
Did you like it?
Yes, I liked it.
Have you ever been back to Germany?
No, I didn't like it that well.
You didn't? All right. And how did the Germans treat you? Did you get out much into the villages and around?
In Germany, I got out all the time, and basically, they didn't really care for us.
Really? Okay.
Now, the bars did, you know.
Yeah, where you did your entertainment.
When you got out with the normal people,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't care for us.
Where'd you meet your wife?
I met I met my wife on a double date.
Was that here?
And
Is
she wasn't my date.
She was the other date.
She was the other date. And that was here.
And she's local. Is she from here? Okay. Now, were you married when you were in the Army?
I got married between Germany and Vietnam.
Okay. So when you were in Germany, you had a girlfriend and who became your wife?
Well, no, I didn't know her then.
Oh, okay.
We knew each other. This is going to probably blow the camera up. We knew each other.
Does she know this story?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We knew each other 2 days when I asked her to marry me, and she said yes.
All right.
And we've been married almost 39 years.
You're still learning stuff about each other, aren't you?
Oh,
yeah. Well, you didn't know her when you were in Germany, you say.
No.
Okay. And you're a young, enlisted soldier, unattached. What does a young soldier do when he goes out on leave?
When you go out on leave, you look for girls. You know.
Okay. Did you go directly from Germany to Vietnam?
No.
Okay, what happened there?
I came home on leave and met my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I was on 30-day leave, and we decided to get married, and they gave me an extension on my leave, so I'd have more time here, and we were married, and then after my leave was up, I took 4 extra days.
Is that called being AWOL?
Well, no, not really. I just didn't go back when I was supposed to.
Oh, okay.
But anyhow.
Then you got there and said, I didn't know.
That was my travel time.
Oh, exactly. Well, then you got, you had this way of surprising your family all the time, didn't you? You joined the Army, and then 2 days you get married while you're on leave. Now, what did they say about you marrying this girl after 2 days?
Well, her parents or mine.
Yeah, both.
Neither one of them thought it would work. You know,
I wonder why they thought that.
they said this can't work. You know, it won't work.
So you're going off to Vietnam. What year was that you went to Vietnam?
1966.
Things were starting to heat up then, weren't they?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. Did anybody really know where Vietnam was then, or anything about it? Did you want to go? Were you okay with it?
I volunteered when I was in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered for Vietnam because they needed medics, and I thought I could help. That's, you know, wasn't trying to be a hero. I was just
Right.
wanting to help, so I volunteered.
Did you have any idea what you were getting into?
No.
Well, when did you get out of the Army?
13th of August, 1967.
What was your rank?
Spec 4, E4.
Now, you're on your way to Vietnam from home here. Did you go to how did you get there? You flew, obviously.
I went from Port Columbus, then we went from there to California, and then from there, Hawaii, I think. And, you know, we just jumped from place to place.
Okay.
The last jump, we were on a military flight.
Where did you fly into?
Cam Ranh Bay,
Cameron Bay.
Vietnam.
Okay. That was a big base there, wasn't
Yes.
it? Okay. Who were you attached to? What was your unit?
U.S. Army Support Command. That was in Cam Ranh Bay, headquarters company. It was the first logistical command.
Mm-hmm.
A replacement command is what it was.
What would you do in that position there?
Well, I was as a medic. We would go where we were sent. If different units needed medics, then we would be assigned. Otherwise, we worked in a field hospital in Cam Ranh Bay, and then we would be, if they needed medics for patrol to go out on patrol, then they would call for so many medics or whatever they needed, and that's what we done.
Mm-hmm. How long were you there in Vietnam?
Well, from October 66 until August 67.
So a year.
Then my time ran out. Yeah.
Okay. Um, now, what was the country like there? What was it? What did you think?
I didn't like it. It was sand and jungle and humidity and hot, and it had an odor that would make you sick. If
An
you,
odor.
Yeah. It was a combination of dead fish and garlic and actually raw sewage. It was terrible. And in the area where I was most of the time.
Were you able to mix with any of the people over there?
Well, this is going to sound crazy. The only people that I mixed with in Vietnam that I wasn't shooting at were in Cam Ranh Bay Village. Part of the medical duties as a medic was to give the prostitutes shots to make sure they weren't carrying any disease to give the soldiers.
Give to the GIs and things.
That was part of it, and they had cards that we punched every
The
time.
prostitutes actually had cards.
Oh yeah, the ones on Cam Ranh Bay Village. They had cards, and that was to keep down disease among the soldiers.
Did it work? It probably did work.
Oh
didn't it?
yeah,
Yep.
because we would go in teams. We wouldn't go together. We would go in teams, or wouldn't go alone. We'd go in teams, and 2 or 3 of us, and give shots. Monthly basis. Sometimes we'd spot check cards.
Mhm.
You know.
Were they cooperative with you?
Oh yes.
They knew that was their lunch
Yeah,
ticket.
sure.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting duty. I've never heard that one before.
Well, yeah, that's it's called the civilian. In fact, they even get medals for it, but the Marines got most of them.
Medals for what?
It's called civilian, where you're in contact with civilians,
Uh-huh.
and they actually get medals for that. And the Marines got them where they were in villages and stuff. I never did understand that.
I don't understand.
And but
Did you get a medal?
No, I didn't want a medal for that. I was doing what I was told.
A medal for.
But we did help deliver
Oh.
a few babies.
Did you?
Because they would go outside and have babies like a dog would have pups.
You were the only medical personnel on hand
Oh
to
yeah,
give them any help.
sure.
Huh. Well, how many babies did you ever have any babies named after you?
I hope not.
Oh my. Well then, what else did you do? You had to go out on patrols, combat?
As a combat medic, you did.
How long would a patrol last?
Oh, some of them were overnight, and some of them you might be out there 2 weeks or a week.
That long?
Yeah.
Did you have a weapon when you were on patrol?
Oh yes. In fact, I had 2. I was supposed medics are authorized to carry a .45 caliber pistol. I also carried, when I could, an M16 rifle.
Okay.
Because I'm a better shot with a rifle.
You probably learned how to be a good shot on the farm here, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And I imagine, did you have to use it? I'm sure you had to use it out there. I mean, you'd get in a battle or something. How many patrols did you make? Do you know?
That would be very hard to say. I don't remember. You know, that's a long time ago,
Yeah.
and we might go a month and not have to go on any, and then we might be on patrol for a month solid with different outfits, infantry outfits.
Were you at Cam Ranh Bay the whole time? I mean, that was
No.
your post?
Well, that was my
That's where you worked out,
that
that's
was
what I'm
my
trying to say.
headquarters. I was in the Trang Phan Rang, Tui Hoa, on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I was all over. And,
Were you with the Marines any?
No. Oh, I mean, we saw them, but
Yeah.
we weren't. I wasn't assigned to them.
Cam Ranh Bay now, it's, I'm trying to think, it's in the center part of the country there, isn't it? We're at a large base there. And So what units were you with? Like the first,
Big Red One was the main one that I ever was with.
okay.
And that's the one that comes to mind because, you know, and they done a lot over there. Well, everybody done.
Everybody did a lot, didn't they? Now in 67, you say, this was 67 or so, what was it like among the soldiers there? There was the morale.
Morale wasn't good because at that time then we started getting people that, young officers straight out of college or whatever, and they wanted you to spit shine jungle boots, which only had toes and heels that were that you could polish, and the rest of them were canvas. I mean, you know,
Silly garrison stuff like that.
sure.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the place for that. And that made the morale kind of bad.
How did all of this wear on you? I mean, you're there a year doing something that's unimaginable to people back here.
I'll be honest with you. I done like most of the guys done. You either drink alcohol or you smoke pot, and I tried both, and I inhaled it.
Not like Bill.
I wasn't gonna waste it, you know, if I was silly enough to try
If you're not, yeah, don't waste the stuff.
But anyhow, and that was a long time ago, but I did. I sure did. I didn't want to know what was going on. I didn't want to remember what was going on because I saw a lot of young guys that lost their life because of alcohol, where if they had been using it.
They were drunk on patrol and things like that.
Yeah. There was a lot of that.
They're just trying to cope too, weren't they?
Trying to cope. That's 18, 19-year-old boys have never been away from home, never been off, you know. And sure, I saw the only one that, other than Hostile Fire, I never will forget it. I saw a young man actually die from going to bed drunk, and he choked to death. Where he was trying to
Vomit and choked on his vomit.
He was too drunk
to roll over, maybe.
to roll over. So that really hurt. I mean that.
Yeah.
So, but that's what we done. And people don't understand. It's hard for people to understand. If you've never been there, if you've never been involved in it, it's hard to realize because everybody looks alike. You don't know who to shoot at, who not to shoot at, and when you're allowed to shoot, when you aren't allowed to shoot. So, you know, it wears and tears on you.
You say you were on the Ho Chi Minh Trail? Were you over in Laos and that area there?
Oh yeah.
Weren't supposed to be there, were you?
No. No.
What'd you do, stray over accidentally?
Patrols done that over us.
They just strayed accidentally over the line. And, well, did you see a lot of NVA? Did you, I mean, actually see I heard people say that they've been there and never saw an enemy. They fired their weapon.
We, what I actually saw, I can count on one hand. Because most of the fire that we encountered was sniper. You can't see them, those suckers. They hide up in trees and jungles and vines and either that or go in the holes in the ground, and which they done. They got a whole lot bigger out. And you wouldn't believe a human could get in those. And until we started using German Shepherds and other dogs, especially German Shepherds.
Did that get them out of there, or that tracked them and you could find them?
Oh, no, that lets you know they were there.
German Shepherd became a pretty good friend then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good.
I still love dogs.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
They could have saved your life.
Oh, yes. There's a fellow asked us about near misses here recently. to the veterans, and I said, that's not a good question, because if you didn't get hit, how do you know how many near misses you had?
Exactly.
I don't know how many I had. I don't want to know. You know.
What was that a program at the veterans what are you talking about there?
What it is right now, due to Agent Orange, I have cancer,
Mm-hmm.
cancer surgery, and diabetes, and well, you can't see that. You see that fingernail?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All my toes are that way from Vietnam.
Ah, okay.
And
Is that a fungus from the jungle, or
yeah,
is
yeah, and all my feet, where they stayed wet so long.
Mm-hmm.
And anyhow, so the veterans they cover all my medical, my prescriptions 100%,
Mm-hmm.
and they filed for me compensation after what 38 years. And
Well, you know, it takes a little long to get the paperwork through.
sure. So that's where this came up. They had a question here
Mm-hmm.
about wanting me to remember exact dates and stuff that I done this and that, and I said, if you can remember what you were doing on that same date, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember.
And they can't, can they?
No.
So that was it. What other things happened to you over there? I mean, did you get any R&R?
I went on R&R to Tokyo
Uh-huh.
one time for a week.
What was that like?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, you're away. You're still around what we call slant eyes, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a whole different.
They're a little friendlier.
Oh yes, and they smell a whole lot better. You know, but you know it's a totally different. And of course, GIs, they know that's a meal ticket, so they treat you fine. You know, and they did that, and so. I hated to go back, but
I'll bet a lot of them did hate to go back.
some of them didn't.
Oh, really? Well, I bet they didn't. I'm sure that some did not go back.
Some did not go back.
Yeah.
And, no,
Well, what made you go back?
because I knew if I didn't, I'd be running the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to come home.
Well, you had a wife at home.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. When was your first boy born?
In 1970.
So that's after you got back.
Oh, sure.
While you were there, did you see anybody famous? Were there any movies?
Martha Ray
Did you see Martha Ray?
and little Jimmy Dickens.
You saw Jimmy Dickens, little Jimmy Dickens.
And Martha Ray, it's the only two.
And did you see any generals?
Oh, all the time.
See Westmoreland?
I saw him several times
Did you?
because he came to Cameron Bay. That's the big shots came to Cameron Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. Did you see President Johnson?
yes, I saw him live.
Saw him live
Yes, I did.
at Cameron Bay?
Because he came out on the little platform where you get off the plane. And that's as far as they came and spoke to us.
Mm-hmm.
When they came out in the Army Times, he was having chow in our mess hall.
But that was in the Army Times.
Yeah. He was having chow in our mess hall and they didn't even get off. I was there.
You're sure he didn't go to chow at the mess hall?
Not in the Cameron Bay, he didn't.
Maybe it was another mess hall.
It was, but they just misprinted. That's, you know,
Oh, gosh.
I know that's awful to say, but
Well,
mm.
what do you think about that whole experience?
Well, it's a war we couldn't win. It's a war where we lost thousands of people, and I can't really see a reason for it now. You know, I think it was a waste of human life. And I know we're in a war in Iraq, and I support our men and women over there, but this, to me, looks like a parallel.
Some similarities there, aren't there?
Not similarities that I don't like to see.
Well, now, you finally get to the day where you leave Vietnam. You flew out, of course. Did you fly out of Cam Ranh Bay also?
No, we flew out of Saigon, and we got mortared our last night there. They mortared Tent City in Saigon. And of course, we didn't have anywhere to go, just crawled under our cots and tried to bury yourself in the sand.
Did you get into Saigon much?
No, I'd only been there once or twice. I just, there were R&R centers in the train, and Van Ring, and places where you could go to kind of get away from the, what they call the heat of battle, you know, to be out of the, but everybody looked the same, and so you didn't know.
Wasn't much R&R to it then?
Wasn't much R&R as long as you were in Vietnam. It wasn't R&R, you know.
Where was China Beach?
That's what I'm trying to think, because I swam in the South China Sea when I was over there.
Yeah.
A bunch of us did. We got stung by jellyfish. I didn't even know what they were.
Did you even know you got stung? I mean,
yeah,
you're out there drunk or what?
Yeah, we dived off the rocks, and I dived right through one of them suckers. They got my white bumps all on me where it was stinging me. I didn't know what it was. We didn't have those in Lucasville, so I didn't.
You mean they're not in the ponds here out in the little soda or something? So the day comes when you leave and you fly out of Saigon. Where did you go then?
Fort Lewis, Washington.
Straight?
Yes, because we flew a commercial flight.
That's straight through.
That was a commercial flight.
That's a long flight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you take off, does everybody cheer?
Yes, and the ladies, stewardesses, were passing out little bottles of booze. Just, they must have had tubs of them.
That didn't last long, did it?
Well, no. It didn't. But they done it all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we wanted.
You got it.
United Airlines.
Now, when you get to Fort Lewis, then what happens? Of course, you get off the plane. What happens? Did you fly into Fort Lewis or a commercial airport around there?
Fort Lewis is where we ended up going.
Right.
Into a commercial airport, and that's why I was glad I didn't have a weapon.
I was going to ask you, how did the people treat you then after you got off?
They threw stuff at us.
Did they?
Yes, they did. Tomatoes, eggs.
Well, that made you feel appreciated, didn't it?
I'm glad I didn't have a weapon. I'm serious. I probably shouldn't say that. But
Well, I'm sure you're not the only one that felt that way. Were there any fights break out or anything like that, or could you get that close?
We couldn't get close.
Now, who are these people? Long-haired hippies, or?
Some of them. Some of them just like you and I.
Yeah.
Now, you know.
Yeah.
But they just hated the war, hated us being there, and
If they could have talked to you, they'd have found out you probably hated it just as much.
we did hate it just as much. We were doing what we were told to do.
So you end up at Fort Lewis. How long are you at Fort Lewis?
Not very long.
You're coming home, aren't you?
Sure,
Okay.
sure, I'm out. I'm done.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you discharged in Fort Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
Discharged from the Army. Okay. So you get discharged, and
They flew me to Port Columbus.
Was anybody there to meet you?
Oh, yeah.
And what was that like?
I couldn't.
Greatest day of your life.
Yeah. Well, I better not say that other than getting married.
Other than that day. Right. Because this is on a record now. So it's over then. It's and that's 1968 that you got out, or 67?
67.
Okay. What'd you do then? What?
Well, nothing for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just wanted to. I didn't want to do anything. You know, spend time with the wife.
Were you okay?
Well, I had a problem with drinking. I wanted to drink. wanted to forget. Didn't want nobody to talk to me about it.
Mhm.
Busted my wife's mouth, not on purpose. I was asleep on the couch, had my hands behind the head, and she bent down to kiss me, and I could just feel something there, you know, and just getting back to Vietnam, I just lashed out, and she understood that.
Mhm.
It was just a sense of
Right.
survival. I mean, you know.
Right. Have you gotten over that now?
It's not near like it used to be. In fact, it was doing pretty good until my oldest son went to Desert Storm.
Mm.
And then my youngest son went in and went to Iraq. Now he's back in Iraq again, so it's just a little tough.
Loud noises? How's that? Make you cringe?
Short temper, that's not good. I don't brag about that.
Yeah.
It's just, my tolerance is not.
Well, she's a pretty patient woman, isn't she?
She needs a Purple Heart.
Did you get any medals?
Yes, I don't know how many. What's on my uniform, in my Legion uniform. If we don't run out of tape, I can show you real quick. I'll run in and get my jacket.
I'll put it on pause.
Okay.
Yeah.
And bring it in.
I'll put it on pause here.
And
Okay.
these are just some of my pins and stuff in the regular Army. And these are my Vietnam
Hold that up a little bit.
medals. And like I said, that's only about half of them. The other half I will be getting my combat medic and all that stuff from Vietnam. I will be getting, but as a chaplain now, I also wear the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. Are you a pastor of a church anywhere?
well,
Or?
I used to be.
Did you? Where?
Yeah, Beaver Faith
Uh-huh.
in Beaver, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up being a pastor, but I am the chaplain in the.
Did you get a Purple Heart?
No, I never got.
Didn't get scratched?
Well, if I had it wouldn't have been from a bullet.
From jellyfish, wasn't it?
I don't think they give Purple Hearts for that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's been nice talking to you. I just wondering, so you're in the Veterans Organization, and
I'm in two. I'm a life member in VFW also.
have you kept contact with any of the guys that you were with over there?
We did for a while, but it's been 15 years since I've heard from any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You were pretty close when you were over there.
and we said we were going to stay close, but some of them have passed away from different things.
Right.
And so I haven't heard from any of them, and I still got pictures put back, I'm sure.
Do ya?
That,
Where's your Army uniform?
I haven't had an Army uniform since back in the 80s.
What'd you do with it? Is it up in the attic somewhere?
Yeah, probably. But I couldn't get in it.
I was going to ask you if we could still get in it.
No way. Not even close. But anyhow, I went to the National Guard when I got out.
Okay, good. I wanted to ask you that. How long were you in?
I served with the 216th Engineer Battalion
Down here in Portsmouth.
down there in Portsmouth as a medical corpsman for at least 6 years, maybe 8 years.
What made you go into that?
Pause that again for a minute. I got something I want to show you that I'm very proud of.
Okay.
From the War Department is the Army Accommodation Medal.
Oh. Let me see if I can get in on that. When did you get that?
I got this in the National Guard in the 216th Engineer Battalion. And what it was, a guy got injured, and I heard it on the radio, so I ran cross country until I found him and kept him from being paralyzed from the neck down as a medic. And that's why I got this from the commanding general from the War Department for my medical treatment.
When did you do that?
This was in 1978.
You say you ran across country. What do you mean?
Well,
It tells it here?
oh yes. That's one thing that I'm very proud of.
On that day, that would be 29th of June 77, you heard by radio that a soldier had suffered spinal internal injuries in a fall from the rear of a truck. You ran over rough terrain for a distance of 1/2 mile to the location. You found him, face down, prone, unable to move. It says Specialist 5 Smith's immediate reaction to an emergency situation is worthy of the highest praise, and in the true spirit of Army Medical Department and our medical corps. Well, that's good. That is something to be proud of. It sure is.
That's a letter they sent. The other one where I went to medical school in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. So, yes, I've worn it out.
Did you like Fort Sam Houston?
I liked Fort Sam. Yes, I did. I didn't like the weather, but
I was there, San Antonio. That's where I did
Yeah.
what they call officer basic there.
the ground looked like a puzzle that was cracked. It was so dry.
Yeah, it was pretty dry and hot. Yeah.
He's going to mess up your tape.
He wants to be interviewed.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my babies.
Well, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about? You got any tattoos you want to talk about?
No, sir. I don't have tattoos.
You didn't get a tattoo?
No.
Well, I figured that if you one day when you were a little bit over, under the influence there, you might have gotten yourself a tattoo down in Saigon.
I gave shots, and the idea of someone using something to give me a tattoo just didn't. I never did get drunk enough.
Okay. Let's see. You just one more thing here. I wanted to ask you. Say you got back and you didn't do anything for a while. But then did you find a job and that sort of thing?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
I went to work in IBEW Local 71, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, building steel towers, high power line towers. A lot of my family worked out of that local, and that's how I was able to get in there. And I done that until they dropped a piece of steel on me and broke my back in 1968.
Oh, that wasn't long after you got out of the service there, was it?
And so I thought, this is not fair. But since then, I've worked on and off several years, until cancer, and then I had to.
You say Agent Orange caused this. So were you right there in the chemical and
Oh yeah.
all that stuff? See them spraying overhead and all that stuff?
And it's even I got them coming on, skin cancers coming on my face, and so that's what they're looking at now after all these years. But if it's meant to be, it will be.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I'm just glad to be an American. I'm glad we got freedom. And if I had to do over it again, feeling the way I did then, I'd do it again.
You would?
I would rather be in Iraq than my son being there. Even though I can't see the need for us to be there. But I would rather it be me and the younger people. I've lived a pretty long life. I'm 60 years old, and I would rather it be me than these younger people that still have all their life.
Altogether, did you like the Army?
Yes, I did. I liked the Army. I didn't like Vietnam after I got there. That's basically because we were trying to fight a war with our hands tied.
Well, thanks very much. Thanks for everything you did. Okay. All right. That probably just about ends that tape there. I'll get this on the shelf down there. Next, I have two other guys on here. The guy I interviewed before you, he was at Pearl Harbor.
My goodness.
Pearl Harbor. He was there when it was attacked. I have, he's about my fourth one, Pearl Harbor guy. Very interesting.
Well, I think this is a great thing, what you're doing. I wasn't aware of it.
Well, not many people are until I call them up and ask them, you know. It's been in the paper a little bit, but not widely. Like,
Well, what seems to me like what's in the paper more is just like what's on TV. It's negative.
yeah, it's negative.
That's what sells papers.
That's what sells it. Yeah.